A few weeks before your final encounter with your twin flame, something begins to shift within your body. This is not coincidence. This is not wishful thinking. It is preparation. Your physical body starts transforming in ways that conventional medicine cannot easily explain. Yet these changes serve a clear purpose, preparing you to hold a level of love and energetic intensity that few people experience in one lifetime. It is as if every cell senses that you are about to meet someone who will recognize your soul through your physical presence. If you are a woman carrying divine feminine energy, and you have already passed through the early stages of spiritual awakening, then your body is becoming a temple prepared for something sacred. There are 5 specific transformations that consistently occur for every woman approaching final reunion with her true twin flame. In this video, I will reveal each of these transformations, why they happen, and most importantly, how to recognize within your own body the signs that you are entering the last phase of your twin flame journey. And if you stay until the end, you will discover the secret that can greatly accelerate this process of bodily magnetization. First, it is essential to understand that the feminine is naturally the bridge between spirit and matter, the one who anchors subtle energies into the physical world. Women often show a greater ability to sense and physically respond to energetic shifts before those changes become visible or measurable through other methods. This bridging role does not imply passivity. In fact, it means the opposite. When the divine feminine fully awakens, a woman's body becomes an active temple, a receiving and transmitting center for frequencies that can influence not only her own reality, but also the reality of those around her. This is why women moving through this process frequently notice that others comment on changes in their presence, their energy, and the way they affect the environments they enter. These bodily transformations do not occur randomly or by chance. They follow an intelligent and purposeful sequence in which each change prepares the foundation for the final encounter, gradually creating the ideal physical conditions to recognize, attract, and sustain a connection with someone operating on the same elevated level of consciousness. What is most fascinating is that these transformations can begin months or even years before the physical meeting with the twin flame. Yet for some women, this process unfolds within weeks or even days, as if a higher intelligence is coordinating the timing and preparation of both souls. The female body seems to access information about future events that the conscious mind does not yet hold, and it begins preparing in advance to sustain experiences of love and connection that have not yet manifested on the physical plane. The first transformation that occurs in the divine feminine before final reunion with her twin flame is the awakening of energetic sensitivity. Your body begins to detect frequencies it did not notice before, as if you have developed additional senses that most people do not possess. You may start feeling your twin flame's presence even when she is physically far away. This is not imagination or romantic fantasy. It is your nervous system becoming more refined and more capable of perceiving subtle energetic fields. You might wake in the middle of the night with the sense that she is thinking about you. You may notice a shift in your emotional state when something important happens in her life. You could feel when she is sad, joyful, or facing challenges, even without any physical communication. Jung observed that this heightened sensitivity is not pathological. It is evolutionary. It is your feminine soul preparing for a connection that will function on levels far deeper than ordinary relationships. Your intuition becomes sharper. You begin receiving insights about situations before they actually occur. Your dreams grow more vivid and seem to carry meaningful messages. Your body may also react in unexpected ways, You might feel warmth or tingling in certain areas when you think of her. You could experience physical sensations during meditation or quiet moments that feel as though they originate from an external source. At times, your heart may race or you may feel fullness in your chest without any clear reason. This transformation also affects how you relate to environments and people. You may become more sensitive to dense energies, feeling uncomfortable in places that never bothered you before. You might need more time alone, not out of sadness or isolation, but because your energetic system requires space to process the new information it is receiving. When a feminine soul develops this expanded sensitivity, she is essentially tuning into her twin flame's frequency. It is like developing the ability to receive a very specific signal, preparing for a form of communication that goes far beyond words. Many women become frightened when they first experience this transformation because they believe they are losing control or becoming obsessive. In truth, the opposite is happening. It is a sign that your consciousness is expanding and that you are preparing for a level of connection that requires this refined sensitivity. The second transformation is perhaps the most intense. Your body begins to undergo physical changes that do not have a conventional medical explanation. There is a recurring pattern of bodily adjustments that appear before the final reunion between twin flames. Your metabolism may shift dramatically. You might lose or gain weight without changing your diet. You may feel more or less hunger than usual or develop entirely new food preferences and aversions. It can seem as though your body is reorganizing itself according to an inner intelligence you do not consciously control. Your skin may become more radiant, as if you are glowing from within. People might start saying that you look different, more beautiful, more luminous, even though you have not altered your routine. Your features may seem softer, your eyes brighter. It is as if your body is aligning with a higher version of yourself. You might also notice changes in your menstrual cycle, even if it has always been regular. You could become more sensitive during the premenstrual phase, or observe that your emotions intensify during certain moon phases. When the divine feminine awakens, she reconnects more deeply with natural rhythms. Your sleep patterns may also change significantly. You might need fewer hours of sleep yet wake up more refreshed, or you may require more rest while feeling that important information is being processed during sleep. Your dreams can become extremely vivid, with intense colors, realistic scenarios, and encounters that leave lingering physical sensations even after waking. Your voice might shift as well, becoming either softer or more powerful. You may realize that you can express thoughts that were previously blocked and that your words carry greater influence. You could develop a new ability to calm, guide, or inspire others simply through your presence or the way you speak. Jung understood that these physical changes reflect a deep, energetic reorganization. Your body is literally preparing to sustain a level of love and connection that requires a more refined energetic structure. It is like undergoing a software update that also upgrades the hardware. Many women resist these changes because they fear losing control over their own bodies. However, when you accept and embrace these transformations, when you trust the process instead of resisting it, the changes integrate naturally, leaving you stronger, more balanced, and more radiant than before. The third transformation occurs in your emotional field and can be the most challenging. Waiting before the final reunion with the twin flame, the divine feminine experiences intense emotional purification that may feel like a roller coaster of opposing feelings. You might go through periods of deep joy followed by sudden sadness without any clear reason. You could feel euphoric in the morning and completely discouraged by the afternoon. These emotional swings are not signs of mental instability. They are signs that deep layers of repressed emotions are being released to create space for a greater emotional capacity. These fluctuations follow a clear pattern. First comes the purification of past wounds. You may relive old pains, cry over losses you believed you had already healed, or feel anger about situations you thought you had forgiven. This is not regression, it is cleansing. Your emotional system is releasing everything that cannot coexist with the elevated love that is approaching. Then comes the expansion of your capacity to feel. You may discover that you can experience levels of compassion, gratitude, and love you did not know were possible. You might become emotional over simple moments, feel a deeper bond with nature, or develop empathy for situations that previously did not affect you. It is as if your heart is opening to broader dimensions of human experience. You may also pass through periods of apparent emotional emptiness, where you feel neutral and disconnected from your usual emotions. These phases are actually moments of internal reorganization, when your psyche is integrating all the changes and preparing for the next level of emotional capacity. During this transformation, you may become more authentic in your relationships. You might realize that you can no longer pretend to feel things you do not feel or maintain superficial connections you once tolerated. You may feel the need to distance yourself from people who drain your energy or from situations that do not align with who you are becoming. This emotional purification often arrives with increased clarity about what you truly want in life. You may find that old dreams no longer make sense, or that new desires are emerging. You might feel called toward changes in career, city, or lifestyle that appear radical but resonate deeply with your inner truth. What matters most during this phase is not to interpret emotional intensity as a problem. Attempting to suppress or control these fluctuations can interrupt the preparation process for reunion. Instead, it is important to allow feelings to flow, observe them without judgment, and trust that a higher intelligence is orchestrating everything. The fourth transformation occurs in your relationship with personal power and can be revolutionary. Before the final reunion with the twin flame, the divine feminine goes through what Jung described as reclaiming personal sovereignty. You literally become a more empowered version of yourself. This change may begin with a growing refusal to accept treatments you previously tolerated. You might realize you can no longer allow people to speak to you disrespectfully or cross your boundaries without consequences. It is not that you become aggressive, you become firm. Your energy shifts in a way that naturally encourages others to respect your space. You may start making decisions that once seemed impossible. You might end relationships that are no longer serving you, even if that means being alone for a time. You could withdraw from dysfunctional family dynamics. Yes, even if this creates tension. You might begin prioritizing your own needs without guilt, something you may never have allowed yourself to do before. This transformation of power is not about becoming domineering or controlling. It is about becoming sovereign over your own energy, responsible for your own emotions, and the owner of your own choices. It reflects an emotional maturity that allows you to love without losing yourself and to connect without abandoning who you are. You may also develop a new magnetic presence. People might start seeking your company differently and valuing your opinion more than before. You may discover a natural leadership ability you did not realize you had. It is not that you are trying to impress or influence others. Rather, your authenticity becomes so strong that it naturally inspires those around you. Your relationship with money and material resources may also shift. You might gain new confidence in your ability to support yourself and create abundance in your life. You may take thoughtful financial risks that previously felt impossible or uncover talents and skills that can be monetized in ways you had not considered. When a woman reclaims her personal sovereignty in this way, she naturally becomes more attractive to conscious connections. Not because she uses seduction strategies, but because she radiates integrity and authenticity. Genuine integrity is magnetic in a way that emotional neediness can never be. This transformation also influences your sexuality. You may discover a more mature sensuality that is deeply connected to your authentic feminine power. You might feel more comfortable with your body and more capable of expressing your desires without shame. This is not performative sexuality. It is sexuality that arises from a genuine connection with yourself. The most important aspect of this fourth transformation is that it prepares you to relate as an equal with your twin flame. Jung understood that true soulmate connections can only exist between two individuals who are already complete and sovereign on their own. If you are still seeking completion through another person, the dynamic becomes codependent rather than conscious. The fifth and deepest transformation is spiritual. Before the final reunion with the twin flame, the divine feminine undergoes a spiritual awakening that fundamentally changes her perception of reality and her place in the universe. You may begin having experiences that challenge your previous beliefs about what is possible. You might develop intuitive abilities that feel almost supernatural. You may start receiving information through dreams, meditation, or sudden moments of inspiration that later prove accurate and meaningful. You might discover that you can sense things about people or situations that you logically should not know. Your relationship with time may also shift. You may start noticing synchronicities so frequently that they can no longer be dismissed as coincidence. You might find that you can manifest outcomes with a speed that once seemed impossible. At times, you may feel as though you are living several moments at once, as if different layers of reality are overlapping. During this phase, many women begin to question belief systems they once accepted without doubt. They may distance themselves from organized religions that no longer resonate or develop a more personal and direct form of spirituality. They might grow interested in mystical practices, alternative therapies, or philosophical teachings they previously considered unusual. You may begin to feel a deep connection with forces that go beyond your rational understanding. You might develop a personal relationship with what some call God, the universe, source, or the divine feminine. This is not about external religion. It is an inner experience of connection with something greater than yourself. This spiritual transformation also influences your life mission. You may discover that you have a specific purpose that extends beyond personal fulfillment. You might feel called to support other women going through similar journeys, or to use your new abilities to contribute positively to the world. You may uncover artistic, healing, or counseling talents that you did not realize you possessed. When a woman completes this spiritual transformation, she naturally becomes a channel for elevated energies. It does not mean she becomes special or superior. Rather, she becomes transparent, allowing light to flow through her without ego distortion. Your perception of relationships also changes significantly. You may realize you are no longer searching for someone to complete you, but for someone who is also complete and willing to build something greater together. You may understand that true love is not based on mutual need, but on mutual recognition of the divinity within each person. During this phase, you might experience periods of solitude that are not painful, but sacred. You may find that you genuinely enjoy your own company in a way you never did before. You could feel an inner peace that does not depend on external conditions to exist. Jung understood that this spiritual transformation prepares the divine feminine to recognize her twin flame, not as someone who will solve her problems or fill her voids, but as someone who will celebrate and amplify the light she has already cultivated within. It is preparation for love grounded in shared abundance rather than mutual need. When these 5 transformations are completed, when your body, energy, emotions, personal power, and spirituality reach this refined level of integration, you literally become a different person from who you once were. Not better or worse, but more aligned with your true essence. Then the most definitive sign that reunion is near appears. You stop searching for your twin flame. Not out of resignation or bitterness, but because you have become so whole within yourself that you no longer feel a desperate urgency to find someone to complete you. You may remain open to love and still wish to share your life with someone special, but you no longer feel that you need another person in order to be happy. Paradoxically, it is often when this need disappears that the universe delivers what you have long desired. It is important to remember that while these transformations are spiritual and energetic, caring for your physical and mental health with qualified professionals remains essential. One does not exclude the other. Jung documented many cases where women who completed these transformations attracted extraordinary connections soon after reaching this state of internal wholeness. This did not happen because they used manipulation or strategies, but because they became magnetic through authenticity and integrity. If you recognize these transformations in your own life, if you feel that these descriptions reflect changes you are currently experiencing or have recently lived through, then understand something essential. You are not going through a crisis. You are undergoing a metamorphosis. Like a butterfly preparing to emerge from its cocoon, you are transforming into the highest version of yourself. These changes may be intense, challenging, and may lead you to question everything you once believed about yourself. Yet they are sacred. They are signs that your soul is preparing for something extraordinary. They show that you are evolving beyond the limitations that once defined your life. Jung taught that the most transformative human experiences often arrive disguised as challenges, confusion, or periods of instability. However, when you understand their deeper purpose and trust the process instead of resisting it, you realize that every change was necessary to prepare you for a higher expression of your life. Not if your twin flame is truly destined to appear, she will come when you are ready, not only emotionally, but also physically, energetically, and spiritually. True soulmate connections require both individuals to operate at elevated levels of consciousness and integrity. Yet even if she does not appear exactly as you imagined, even if love comes through a different person or in another form, you will still have gained something invaluable. You will have become the most powerful, authentic, and spiritually awakened version of yourself. A woman who has passed through these transformations no longer settles for superficial relationships. She no longer accepts love that fails to honor who she has become. She no longer diminishes herself to make others comfortable. Instead, she naturally attracts experiences and people who operate at the same level of consciousness and maturity. This is one of the greatest achievements a human being can reach, becoming fully oneself, by developing one's full potential and integrating all aspects of personality into a conscious and loving being. When you reach this state, you do not only transform your own life, you also become an inspiration for other women who are still at the beginning of their awakening journey. If these words resonated deeply with you, if you recognized your own path within these transformations, write in the comments, "I trust my awakening process." In this way, I will know the message reached those who needed it, and that you understand that what is happening to you is not accidental, but a form of preparation for something meaningful. If you wish to deepen this transformation journey through feminine awakening even further, I have created exclusive materials based on Carl Jung's core teachings for those navigating the most challenging stages of spiritual growth. The first is a practical 21-day guide designed to teach the most effective techniques Jung proposed for transforming psychological trauma into spiritual wisdom. The second is a survival manual for moments when, even while understanding the spiritual meaning of your experience, some days still feel extremely difficult to endure. The third is a complete guide that reveals key principles for manifesting your twin flame, grounded in Jung's discoveries about individuation and soul recognition. The links are in the first comment of the video. Remember, you were chosen to experience these transformations because your soul is ready to function at higher levels of consciousness and love. Trust the process, honor the changes, and appreciate who you are becoming. See you in the next video.